Hello. In our Parashat Tzav, we read a special halakha that is also connected to Pesach, and together, I think, give us a very relevant idea, concept for our lives. And that is that it says in our Parashat that a korban chatat that has been cooked in a clay pot, you have to break the clay pot. Why is this? Because you can't kasher the pot. Now, most Rishonim think that this is true for all the korbanot. Any korban that has been cooked in the clay pot has to be broken. Why? Because after a certain time, when it's past the time where you may eat the korban, so then what's been swallowed in the pot is already notav. It's prohibited to be eaten. So therefore, you have to kasher the pot before. But clay pots can't be kashered. You have to break them. That's true for the chatat. It's true for the shlamim. It's true for all the korbanot. But the Rambam paskins this halakha explicitly only for chatat. The rest of the korbanot, the Rambam says you can kasher clay pots. Not in all halachot, but for korbanot you can kasher the clay pots. And Rav Soloveitchik explains that why does the Rambam say so in korban chatat? He understands it's a special halakha. It's a special din that clay pots of chatat have to be broken. And I think that we can look at this in a symbolic manner that Torah is trying to tell us. Clay pots, yes, you can kasher them, because usually what's been absorbed by them, 99% of what's been absorbed by HaGadol is taken out. But there's a little amount that's still inside the clay pots. And that little amount, with other korbanot, is not problematic. But with a chatat, we want to disconnect ourselves from the chit. We will not have a clay pot that is always left. There's always a little part that is still in that pot and reminds us again and again of the chit that we have done. Part of the tshuva is disconnecting ourselves from that chit, saying that we are not there anymore. And that's why clay pots have to be broken. Metal pots, you can kasher and everything that's been absorbed will come out of the pot. But in the clay pots, the chatat still stays there. And therefore, you may not use a clay pot. A person has to say, I have left this chit. Me bringing a chatat comes to say that I am not connected to this sin anymore. I am not there. And therefore, you need to break the pot because you need a new pot. I am a new person. And also on Pesach, also the Rambam agrees that you cannot kasher clay pots. And also here, we have to say that what the Torah is telling us, that on Pesach, we have nothing to do with chametz, not even on the slightest. You cannot use a pot that was a chametz pot. If it's been kashered and it has no remnants of chametz in it, so that's fine. But if it's a clay pot and it has inside a little bit of chametz, you cannot use it. We have to disconnect ourselves from chametz. Now, of course, that brings us back to the question, what is the problem with chametz? And for that, there are lots of reasons. And there's a whole long Leil Seder to discuss that and think about it and learn it. But of course, the most famous explanation is that at least during Pesach, the chametz resembles our pride, our gava. And we want to say, when we enter Pesach, that we're leaving that all alone. We're humble. We realize how much when we're in the hands of Hashem, we rely on Hashem. We thank Hashem. And we understand that part of our becoming a nation of Am Yisrael is through the recognition that everything is in the hands of Hashem and that we don't have anything of our own pride at that moment. So that's why we can't use clay pots. Not for chatat, not for chametz. And within ourselves, we have to make sure that this isn't only something that has to do with pots, but something that reflects what is going on in our own soul. Shabbat Shalom. And later on during the week, Chag Sameach.